Right guys, so we are here today, doing a bit of a client check-in day, going through some posing with everyone. They're at various stages in their prep, sort of 6, 8, 10 week out, around that sort of point. Just go through posing. I find it good to see them in person because I can just get a real idea for what they look like. Sometimes the check-in photos do lie a little bit. Sometimes people look better in check-in photos. Sometimes they look worse. It's one of those things that we just need to see in person sometimes. So I'm going to go through posing with all of them, and yeah, just looking forward to getting this done basically. So yeah, I've known Sarah for a while. When I was first training in Worcester, when I first moved to Worcester, I was actually on the treadmill, and her sister was next to me on the treadmill, and her sister was talking to me about bodybuilding because I was prepping at the time, and then we were competing and stuff. And oh, my sister does bodybuilding, she trains and stuff, and then she showed me pictures, and I was like, holy shit, she's really good. And then we got talking on Facebook a bit, and then after that, later down the line, we worked together for a bit. We were going to do a show, then we didn't because you had the powerlifting, and it was just too much to do at one point. Went into the powerlifting comp. We stopped working together for a bit. Then whilst doing the powerlifting, which was fun.
To drop down category, didn't you?
Yeah, it needed to get tuck into the weight class essentially. Went and did that, and then after that, I believe you had a bit of time off. We still spoke a lot, didn't we? We were still speaking a lot of the time about training and stuff. But then you got in out of sort of sync with it a bit, didn't you, with training?
Yeah. So I was working, came out of uni, and then had a year to kind of work, and then we got back in touch.
And then you were like, oh, I wanted to do a diet, and then you got about 5 or 6 weeks into it, and I said, Sarah, there's a show in 10 or 11 or 12 or something. I said, let's just do this, let's go for it. And that was the first time we worked together for a competition, fully all the way through, obviously, and we did, you did the PCA London, won the train figure class there very easily, won the overall there pretty damn easily as well, if I say so myself. And then we went to the British, got third at the British, which was a bit of a bummer, but it is what it is, and we took from that. But you just needed to be bigger, so we did that, and now we're coming in 10 kilos heavier than she was competing at last time. 10 kilos of stage weight in 2.5 years.
It would have been 2 years if I'd competed earlier in the year. But now it's
about 2.5 years of off-season, 10 kilos of stage weight, which I don't think many blokes do. So I'm pretty chuffed with that. You've worked hard. So looking forward to this one. So we're going for the July show, which is the La Familia, and then we're going for the British, and we're going to hopefully get the pro card at the British in women's physique. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be a tricep. She was like, just smash out your midsection, like you need midsection control for that. She said you've got a nice shape, but if you can't hold in your midsection, then it just ruins the pose.
You can have the best arms and the best delts on stage and the best overall sort of flowing lines and all of that. Yeah. But if you go into that pose, then you're like, because you might get compared 3 times against the girls. You might all be very different shapes, very different sizes. And if you compared 3-4 times because the judge is like, what the fuck do we want to see? Then if you get to that point, you see it on the weekend. Guys are gassed, and they're like, they haven't got guts normally. Like they've not blown out their gut from like Slim or GH or whatever. Like they haven't blown or just eating excessive carbs, but like. When they're standing there and they've done 3 rounds, if you're not pose fit, you're fucked. It's such a massive part, especially in female competitions, because if you've got a figure girl that's standing there, they've only got 4 fucking poses. And if they go after 3 rounds, all they're doing is a fucking quarter turn. It's just going to be dreadful.
Yeah, that's it. So we did it must have been like a solid, we did in total, it was like an hour and 15, but we did like a total 45 minutes just that one pose. Yeah, that's it. And she proper gassed. It was really.
You're doing it without a mirror as well?
Yeah. What I do is I do it 3 times a week, 3 rounds, 1 with a mirror, and then 2 filmed, so I don't see it.
Okay. Been working together with Ethan now for 6-8 weeks? Something like that.
I think coming up to the 2nd month mark.
Yeah, we're coming up to there now, aren't we? In the middle of it somewhere, aren't we? So we're going for the first time this show, first ever time stepping on stage as a junior competitor as well in bodybuilding class. I think you've got fantastic potential for it, to be fair. Good shape, good taper. We've had a bit of issues with sort of your insulin as well, because obviously not insulin as a bodybuilder would take, but he's actually diabetic, so it's a little bit difficult to manage things as well, because you're sort of getting to grips with it a bit with dieting, because obviously there's factors and variables thrown in, insulin sensitivity, insulin resistance, and we're having a bit of fluxes in weight and stuff, and obviously with the way the prep goes, it's quite difficult to discern some stuff, but I think, we've got a very good chance of doing well at this first one for sure. I mean, your shape and your muscularity and everything is very advanced for that class, from what I've seen from previous years, so we should be in a good stead for it, even with these issues, as long as we can iron them out. So what's your thoughts on the whole prep so far? Like?
So far it's been the smoothest sailing prep. I started one first lockdown and I got to about the 7-week out mark, and obviously lockdown hit, everything shut down, got called off, stopped dieting.
Were you doing that on your own, or did you have another coach?
I was with Joshua Kingsley Clow.
Oh, okay.
We got to about 7 weeks out and ended up having to just pull the plug because, well, couldn't train, had no motivation to diet. So I had, I think, about 6 to 8 months of training and dieting completely.
Yeah.
Then came back, started training, and then fell back in love with it and wanted to do a prep again. And following a lot of your previous clients, Ross, obviously having looked up to Brandon in the past.
Of course,
having seen what you do with a lot of clients, it's kind of just no bullshit approach and get it done.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do. So basically we need to look at your sleep, we need to look at what's going on there. That could be a reason why, because if you're having super late in the evening, essentially what's going to happen is, like I said, your ability to drift off to sleep is going to just be exhaustion, tired, work 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, whatever it ends up being, with training on top. But the actual quality of the sleep and what might be affected.
Because the thing that I always find happens is deep sleep continuity is always quite low, and light sleep's always quite high.
Yeah, that's not what we want. We want as much. That's basically like,
so like hours of sleep.
It's like, I don't sleep very well. I get up in the middle of the night and then I get into sleep really well when I'm completely fucked. It's like, okay, we need.
But for me, breathing quality.
Have you taken melatonin before?
No, not before.
I would suggest start getting on something like that. We're going to need something. We obviously don't want to use like fucking drugs or anything to get you to sleep, or fucking when people are like, just smoke a joint, that's fucking retarded. Like, it's so stupid. Like, that would probably be...
That's the problem. Some of the women at work, obviously working in pharmacy, they're like, try this, it's brilliant.
No.
Like, I'll get one of the doctors to do you a prescription on it.
I'm alright. No, alright, fair enough. Yeah, we'll look at that. We'll look at using some melatonin, we'll look at such and that. I think we can fix the sleep quality a bit, we can probably see a bit more, because it's going to be a consistent sort of factor as well, that sleep would just get shit by the end of prep. Yeah. So if we can fix it up as much as humanly possible, so 1, stop using pre's, 2, start using some melatonin, and then just go from there. I think that in itself will be a big contributing factor to just fat loss, because you're doing everything else that's needed. You're doing everything else that's needed. You're doing your cardio, you're sticking to your fucking plan, you're doing everything else that's on schedule. We're not eating cheats or shit at the moment, so let's look at that. I've been working with Lee now for how long?
Since about October, November.
Yeah, October, November. So worked together a bit now, which is good. We did a bit of off-season together, and then we dived straight into a prep. We decided which one we were going to go for, and that was it's the two bros. So competing as a lightweight. You competed as lightweight how many times before?
4 times.
4 times before. 4 times as a lightweight. So the goal is to bring him in at the absolute pinnacle of the lightweights, the top of it, and then go to the British, and if hopefully there are other people to compete against at the British as lightweights, we don't know, it's such an unpopular class, that if we, hopefully we could just take the title there, which would be nice. Worst case scenario comes around and we look at the lightweight look essentially that you bring at the June one.
Yeah.
June?
Yeah, June.
June show. And if it's crap, then we'll essentially go, do you know what, you're going to look better as a middleweight. We start filling him up, we start feeding him, we keep that condition, we keep essentially bring the calories to like a maintenance point, so we hold the level of conditioning, but just look more alive, look better, look fuller, look bigger, and probably look more conditioned just from having more glycogen and muscle and being able to train more effectively. So it's playing around with looks, and because of your build and because of the way that you're built and everything, it's going to be a difficult one for us to ever. We need to be towards the middle of the middleweights for you to be against guys who are 2 inches taller than you. But you'll smoke them because you'll essentially make them look tall and lanky in a weird way, even though they won't be. It'll be it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. It's going to be tough, but it's going to be. I like a challenge like that, and you're fucking a hard worker. So you're like the only client that doesn't know. It's brilliant. It's like really, really impressive, especially when you're on pitiful amounts of calories as well. You are grafting your socks off. So very impressed, especially with today. Really good. Right. It's like a blood through your upper body, isn't it, as well?
Because I'm really cold at the minute. Yeah. When there's a bit of heat on me, everything fades and comes out. That's not nice. It's honestly. Yeah,
it's definitely that, then, isn't it? It's flatness, but also like, I think we will get down to the middles for that first one, but you are going to be a middle at Brits. No. I don't think you're going to be a middle at Brits. No chance. Especially with pushing your food back up to a good point. And again, back to the front. Pass the pass. I think the main thing that we're going to be paying attention to is what look is your best.
And I think,
and even if you go into the middles and you get smoked, but you look fucking amazing, at least we know 2 years' time you'll come back as a legitimate in the middle of the middleweights.
And I think I always look better with that little bit of a pop to my physique, and it's a bit like.
Well, you spoke to me before about overcooking with pulling water.
Well, that's one thing I was going to speak to you about. Is the one thing I've always done is take water out.
Yeah.
And at that point, I stopped pissing. Yeah. And basically, I look the same. Every show I've done, every coach has done it, and I'm a bit like, I look no different the next day, and I'm just holding, and I just feel flat. Then I feel flat, and it's.
Well, change the damn thing. If we'll just slowly increase your food into the actual competition itself, rather than like good, that's grainy. Jesus, that's mental. Relax a sec, and then do that one more time. Just go over it. That's fucking, look at that. It's like fucking translucent. It's so cool. And it's so weird because I bet it won't even be showing up on the camera, but that's so good. Your condition is fucking bang on, man. Absolutely bang on the button. Really happy with that. Really cool. So we are Dad's looking at competing probably next year, some point, maybe in the middle of next year. Maybe even towards the later end of it, we don't know. We're looking more towards the wellness class, maybe figure as like a warm-up or something. We'll have to see. You're very much suited to sort of both, but this was your first time posing today, so we've just gone through that basically. Sort of trying to get a feel for what your physique looks best in what sort of poses. Haven't really gone through much wellness stuff. Yeah. We could probably do with that afterwards, but I think the next step for you now is sort of doing a mini cut at the moment, finish that. You were very much adamant about wanting to control the rebound coming out of it, weren't you?
Yeah, as much as possible.
Yeah, and then we were going to lead in from there to just a good solid off-season, so control the rebound, really slowly build things up, decide what sort of direction we want to go with your physique, whether you want to move in towards more of a figure class, or whether you want to stick with, with wellness, because you've got the legs for wellness already, it's just a case of bringing up the upper body in certain areas, your delts, your back, whatever. But we'll just have to see. But it's good to see you go through some posing and stuff today, because but it's good. But it's good to hand placement. But it's good to see that you've got very much two paths that you can sort of go down based on what you like more. I know you like the wellness look more, but if you would literally walk a figure class, then you can always do that as well. Can't we, as well? We just have to see. But should be good. So I think how long have we actually been working together now? That is. Have we been nearly over a year?
Yeah, probably over a year now.
Cool. So Clifton came to me when I was still taking on lifestyle clients and just wanted to sort of get in shape for a photo shoot. We did that. That was good, actually, really good there. And then I suggested doing a competition, doing men's physique. And I think with dieting all the way through, dieting, and then I was like, oh, what class do you want to do? Do you want to do, remember this conversation, it's like, do you want to do medium? Or like, what was it, which one was like medium? I think that's the height you'd be. And then you were like, oh, I could do masters. And I said, oh, are you over 35 then? And he was like, yeah, and I'm like fucking shocked. I was like, okay, cool, we'll do masters then. So yeah, conditioning's coming in nicely. It's a bit difficult at the start because of lockdown and all that shit, wasn't it? Yeah. So that was difficult. But it's getting there, it's coming together now, conditioning's good. Just need to practice some posing, obviously that's what we're doing today. I'm happy, I think your conditioning's where it needs to be, we just need to work on a few poses. But once we're able to display your physique better, I think that'd be cool. You looking forward to it, or nervous then?
Yeah, mostly nervous, but we'll see how it goes on the day. Yeah,
I'll be there. I'll be there at the show anyway, so I'll be shouting. If you forget any poses or anything, I'll be booming in the crowd. You'll hear my voice over everyone's anyway, so don't worry. I'll bring a foghorn or something, or a fire bell, and just ding that. I don't know. Anyway, looking forward to it. Right, so all wrapped up with today. It's been real good to see everyone in person. Get the sort of, get the game planned out, plan out what they're doing with everything for the rest of the preps. Got through posing with 5 people today, so that's all cool. If anyone's looking for, someone to help them go towards their shows, someone who's going to be with a hands-on approach, just pestering you for photos, trying to get you in the best conditioning possible, making your stage experience something to be proud of, feel free to drop me a DM. I'm only working with competitors now. My time is solely focused on you guys. If you are looking for a coach who takes this seriously and takes your prep seriously, I'm here. Drop me a DM.